Wait. All right, trying this again. I think I figured out what the problem was. Let's try this one more time. We're loading the video.
Okay.
I'm listening in myself. That was our cool remix that we were doing a second ago.
The dub remix.
Yeah. All right, it's loading video. Sorry about that, guys. I think what happened was we had Twitch TV open in the tab here, and we're ending up in like a crazy, never-ending feedback loop. So, all right, let's see. It's still loading the video here on our screen. Hey, there we go. I think there was no crazy feedback that time, so I think we're doing good. All right, we got the thumbs up from the rest of the people in the studio.
The production crew is happy now. We can move forward.
All right, at least we figured this out at the beginning rather than 15 minutes in like last time.
That's much better.
All right, so we'll start this up again for everybody. All right, thanks, guys. So just to refresh, and probably none of you could hear us right now, today we wanted to show off Champion Mode, which is a brand new difficulty that we'll be bringing into KingsRoad in just another week or so. So right now you got normal mode. That's the first time you run through the game. Second time you run through, it's on heroic. You've got better loot. You've got harder enemies. And now you're going to have champion mode. And in champion mode, you're going to have really brutal enemies. You're going to have special enemies that'll have special loot. We'll get into more of that in a little bit. But first I wanted to introduce myself in case you couldn't hear it before. I am Brett Bates. I'm the Customer Experience Manager here at Rumble. And with me today I have...
Derek McDevitt. I'm a designer on KingsRoad.
Cool. All right, so we've got 3 Rumble staff members in a map in champion mode right now. And why don't we have you guys start playing? And Derek, why don't you give us just kind of an overview of like what champion mode is, what's special about it? Let's talk a little about this particular map.
Yeah, totally. So right now we're playing through a map on champion mode, as Brett was saying. And it's the next difficulty above heroic. So you should expect more enemies, enemies with lots of new abilities that you haven't seen before. And as you're playing through these maps, you might see enemies in, like for example, we are playing Castle Somar right now. You're going to see some enemies in here that you didn't see in normal and heroic mode. So we really wanted to mix up the population, take some new takes on the levels that you've already played twice.
You guys can see here just how difficult it is. I mean, these guys are level 60 characters. They're fully kitted out. And he just died about 2 seconds into the map.
Yeah, I mean, there's also skill in question here too, but you know.
We should point out we have our QA guy playing the map right now. So if anybody's going to be good at the game, it should be him.
Right. I mean, the cool thing about a lot of these maps though is we've really tried to really focus in on the lieutenant enemies and the stronger mini boss enemies that have more unique strategies. And as opposed to just adding a ton more guys on top of what's already there, we really wanted to create some sense of strategy and how you approach these different challenges that we put in front of you. So as you're playing through, you'll see a lot more of those mini boss enemies that you may have noticed popping up in heroic mode. The guys are the red glowing hands, and they have like extra attributes like faster attack speed or increased damage, and they drop better loot as well too. So we made much better use of those guys in champion mode. There's a lot more of them. And on top of just new abilities for lieutenants you haven't seen before, it should provide for a pretty refreshing gameplay experience and something that should be very challenging.
So I noticed the map here, this is the Castle Somar map, but it looks very different than what we've seen in the other 2 modes. So tell the viewers a little bit what's going on.
Totally. So the inspiration for doing what we did with the maps, first of all, we took all the maps in the game and we put this kind of nighttime shader on it, is what we're calling it. We wanted to make it look like the world had been cast in like a shadow of darkness from Adamar, the Dark Lord, who we all hate and despise and want to kill. So you'll see here he has a lot of his Adamar's shroud enemies are spread throughout these levels as well too. So you'll start seeing those guys that previously you only saw in the Adamar's castle levels are going to be all throughout the world mixed in. Just there you saw some red demons flying down. Normally you wouldn't find those kind of enemies throughout all these levels.
Yeah, so it really makes it feel like it's kind of a different sort of gameplay experience. And some of the guys here have done a lot of great work adding in cool little VFX to the maps as well. So, instead of the butterflies that you would see in the early maps on normal, now they're little fireflies.
Right, totally.
There's some other cool effects too, right?
Absolutely, yeah. We've changed some of the enemy attacks to have brighter effects to stand out in this nighttime mode and really make use of it. And just want to talk. You saw him, our lead here, die 3 times now, and I want to emphasize that it's not always like that. In our playtest, we found the first time you play a map, you're going to die a lot, and you're going to have to learn the strategy. But as you replay the maps, you're gonna die less and less as you get more efficient at approaching the various challenges. So the first time through, it might be pretty frustrating and hard, but that's what we want to do. We want to put a good challenge out there for players to try to figure out, for you guys to figure out how to overcome that, and what combinations of skills and stats and gear you need to take with you to beat a level.
So, Stephen, when you're playing here, once you get rid of that wave of enemies, why don't you pause for a second and open up your inventory?
Right.
I think I saw you picked up one of the cool new artifact items that are unique to this mode.
Right, so that's one of the big things is there's these new types of items, artifact items or item sets as people will refer to them, that are only dropped in champion mode. That you can't find them anywhere in the game right now, and when we do release champion mode, you'll only be able to get these items in this mode. And as you can see here, these items, they have a red background on them. Previously the highest tier item was legendary, which had kind of an orange background on it. So now artifact takes it one level further. And these items are constructed in sets. So you'll see here we're looking at the headpiece of the ivory griffin. As I collect more pieces from the ivory griffin set, i.e. the chest piece and the gloves and the boots, I'll start getting these set bonuses that you see on the tooltip there. So the more of the ivory griffin set I complete and wear, I unlock further bonuses, and my guy looks cooler and cooler as I complete the full visual set of armor. On release, we're going to have a few of these item sets available for you to find here, and as time goes on, we're going to be releasing more and more of these things, so look forward to that.
We should mention, too, I just saw a question here in the chat room. People were asking when exactly Champion Mode is going to come out. So we're going to have the first set of maps done for our next update, correct?
Right. The next time we update, we're going to be releasing Champion Mode maps all the way up through Castle Somar. So that's about the first 2/3 of the maps that are available. And then in the following release, we will we'll push out the remaining maps all the way up through Adamar's Castle. We just want to take some extra time in those maps and make sure that the final boss fight was really cool and really engaging.
Cool. And we had one other question here that was asking about the stats for the set pieces, if they're random or if they're going to be set for each particular piece.
Right, so I believe the set piece items, actually, the bonuses you get for the various sets will be set bonuses,
yeah.
But the actual stats on the item itself, the singular item, yeah. Those will be randomized as they are with normal.
Okay, like so if you had 2 artifact gloves, they could have
different bonuses on them, but you'll still get the same bonus for having 2 of that set, 2 items of that set.
Got it, yeah. Got it. We should also mention, too, that the artifact items are all bound to a particular class, so that's a little bit different than the way that normal items work, right?
Yes, that is actually
so a helmet, a legendary helmet or a good quality helmet, can be worn by all classes, whereas a legendary item is going to be particular to a certain set, and it can be worn by a certain character class, right?
Right. Yeah. So these artifact set items, are required. They have the required class on them. So there's specific sets for the knight, specific sets for the archer, and specific sets for the wizard.
Cool. Why don't you go ahead and start killing some more bad guys? So let's see. I think one of the other questions that people want to know, you said we have a couple sets that are going to be available for next week.
Right.
Is the plan to release a lot more of these sets in the
future?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. I think, we all enjoy collecting things, especially things that make you a lot more powerful and look cooler. So, I fully expect that we'll be releasing lots of these sets. And you may be able to get them in other unique sets in various other ways down the road. Mm-hmm. But for now, it'll just be champion mode.
Got it. Cool. Let's see if we got any other cool questions on sets or on champion mode. Let's see, any plans to add elemental resistance in this to gear? I guess this wouldn't apply just to artifacts.
That would be kind of a more general. It has come up before. We've avoided that for now. Trying to make more interesting stats that improve kind of your damage output or the other stats we have now, but it is something that's on the table if we need to go there in the future with further expansions.
Got it. Let's see what we have here. Anything else that people are talking about? No, I think we're pretty good. Let's see, different UI. Oh yeah, I guess we should talk about some of the other changes that we have.
I guess we've accidentally shown you guys some new stuff coming out already. All right, cool.
Yeah, so the big new releases for next week are going to be Champion Mode for one. Hopefully we will be expanding guilds to more of you in the community as well. And we'll actually show you a quick little preview of where we are with guilds right now once these guys are done with their map. So those are the really big features that are coming, but we've also got a lot of cool minor tweaks. Are there a couple of those that you could speak to, Derek?
Yeah, like they're pointing out right now, the UI you can see is in transition right now. We're moving some elements around to kind of get some of those, like the friend selector and the other messages. This is all a work in progress. It shouldn't be considered final, but you can kind of see the different things we're trying out right now. I don't know why I'm pointing at the screen like you guys can see it, but
in the upper left corner of the screen.
Upper left corner of the screen, yeah. You'll see we're kind of messing around with some different controls up there and pulling them out of the bottom HUD bar. So look forward to some improvements there.
Yeah, I think the idea behind that is just to kind of give more real estate over to the game itself, right?
Right.
Trying to shrink some things, make sure that it's not just like stats and UI all over the screen. You can hardly see the gameplay.
Right.
He's just getting brutalized here.
Two of those guys.
Double kill.
That is brutal.
So if any of you guys are having trouble getting through champion mode and you want to rage at somebody, the person you should be raging at is Derek here, because he is the one. He and Bennett, our other designer, have been working really hard to try to balance these. And, I think your intent was to make these brutal. We want these to be hard. We've heard from a lot of players that, a lot of elements of the game are too easy, particularly when you get up to a high level.
Absolutely.
And, you wanted to make something that's a real challenge for players and make it so that some of the strategies that they've been using to get through other parts of the game won't be applicable here.
Right.
Yeah.
Totally. And without giving too much away, we are working on new abilities and enhanced abilities for all the classes. So we wanted to leave some room to grow in this mode, knowing that it's possible to do now. You can optimize it and you can get better and better at it. But we wanted to make sure that as the new content, new abilities came out for the classes, that there was room for those that feel useful in this mode, and to make you feel like you're growing in power. So I think we've achieved that, but it'll be great to hear what you guys think about that.
So I think one of the other kind of cool things that players would like to hear about would, just kind of go through a little bit of like what the iteration process is for something like this. I think a lot of people don't really understand, like, how do you make a map and how do you improve a map? How do you make it fun? Because I know we've talked internally. You've gone through a lot of different iterations.
Absolutely, yeah. So we've spent the past few weeks doing this process, and basically what we do is, we start with, we look at what was done in Heroic. For this map that we're playing now, Somewhere Castle, we look, okay, what was that like in Heroic? What enemies were there? What were the biggest threats? And, we kind of, what are we working with? And then we wanted to see, okay, what can we add to this? We came up with a set of enemies that are the Atomar enemies that we wanted to spread across all the levels. So we started with that, allocated those guys across all the various levels. And then when going into a specific map, we saw how we could make those guys play well with the other enemies that are already there. And then on top of that, we did another pass where we said, okay, the enemies are already here. What can we do to them to give them even cooler abilities? So you'll see a lot of new enemies in this mode that you may already be familiar with, doing new special things that you didn't see them doing before. For example, in the Druid level, you've got those guys who call down one lightning bolt on top of your location. Well, now he calls down like a cluster of 5 or 6 lightning bolts. So, we really just enhance all of the strategies that are already there, as well as introduce some new ones. So we start with that. We do a population pass, of course. Either myself or Vinith, the other designer, we'll do a pass, and then we play test it. And sometimes we find out that we've made impossible combinations of enemies. One time I had a healing flag bearer with another healing flag bearer next to next to a giant drummer who was summoning a stream of enemies at an incredibly fast rate. We found out that was pretty much impossible. So, there's a lot of iteration, and the cool thing is being able, we're all sitting really close to each other here in the office. We play a map, we get to a point where we all wipe and we're permadead, and we just kind of laugh about it, fix it, refresh the server, and try again. And we just do that over and over and play through all the maps until we're happy with them. So it's a really fun process to be able to come in knowing that I'm going to be playtesting the game all day and making tweaks to it. It's a really fun time to be working on this.
We should mention, too, with these champion mode maps, that it's really beneficial not just to play in co-op, but to have one player with each class, right? So you can really complement their skills with each other.
Right.
And particularly the buffs, right?
Yep.
Because those will really help you in the long run. So, you need the wizard's buff so that you can get that mana regeneration, make sure that you can keep hitting these really hard guys with skill after skill after skill.
Absolutely.
You need the archer to increase the attack rate. You need that knight to buff up your armor to make sure you're not dying every 10 seconds, although that's still happening to Steve.
Absolutely. Steven's
I'm the worst knight in the world. Don't ever accept my invite.
We had a better night booked, but he canceled on us last minute. Sorry, guys. Yeah, no, sharing the different passives between the classes. So if you guys, a lot of you probably know this. If you don't, I'll explain it real quick. The passive bonuses that you have on your class, you share those with your party members. So if you have one member each group member is a different class. You've got the archer, the wizard, and the knight. You're mixing up all the possible buffs that you can have, and you're all stacking those with each other there. So you're going to unlock the full potential of those buffs. That said, it's not necessary to have a knight. It's recommended to bring in a knight so he can tank properly and play that role. But we've tested it without a knight. It is possible, albeit more difficult. But you guys are all rock stars at this game, so I'm sure you'll figure it out.
So let's see, we got a few other questions in the chat room here. One we can answer really quickly. They want to know what level these characters are at. They're all at level 60. It appears there's a visual glitch right now, which is showing them all at level 6. But we will look into that.
Oh, correct. Yeah. So all players playing right now are level 60, and that's an important thing to note about this mode. Actually, is that the monsters spawn at level 60. You actually gain access to this mode after you beat Heroic, and also once you've reached level 50 currently in the game. We may change that if we find out that doesn't feel right, but that's what we're going with right now. So you can come in here 10 levels lower than these monsters and try your hand at it. It'll be difficult, but as you reach closer to level 60, it should become easier, and at level 60, you should feel pretty even footing with these guys.
Cool. And
so it really is a later game feature.
Before we switch over to look at guilds, there's also a question here about the side rooms. So we had those side rooms in the game way back in the day, back during the closed beta. We probably got rid of those like 6 or 8 months ago.
Yeah, but they're still sitting in the database.
They still exist. We still have plans to do something with them. What those somethings are, I don't think we're ready to talk about just yet, but we'll definitely find some cool iteration, some new game mode that we can use those maps with.
Yeah, and actually, again, without saying too much, one of the things I am working on right now is a design spec that incorporates bringing those back into the game and using them for smaller bits of content, which I think would be really fun. Just give you different gameplay modes and different things you can do. So I'm exploring that, and that's on my table right now. So.
Cool. All right, let's switch over and look at guilds. Give players a quick overview.
Oh, they beat the level. Look at that. I didn't think they were going to do it. Yeah.
Finally. Finally.
I'm just going to get punched from my screen here.
I wish we did have a counter now in champion mode. How many times
how many times you died? Yeah.
I came in second place.
Did you?
All right. So we're back in the town hub here. You can see the guilds menu will be accessible from those new icons in the upper left of the screen. It's the one on the far right. If you click that, if you are in a guild, you'll get the guild info panel. If you're not in a guild, you get a message that will allow you to either create a new guild or join an existing. Do we have that in there?
That's coming if it's not in yet, but that is that's how it will.
It will be in there in the near future. So Stephen here is in the guild Defenders of Quality. I think you're actually the guild owner, right, Stephen? All right, so if you're a guild owner, you actually get a few more options. Once you switch back over to the info tab, we'll kind of go over what you see here. So guilds right now have a 25-member max. This guild has 9 players in it looks like, at the moment. You also have a guild level, and that's really important to note because every time you gain a guild level, you will gain a permanent buff for all the people who are in that guild. We'll look at those in a second, but you can also set a motto for your guild, and that's going to be viewable by anyone who's looking at your guild on the leaderboards or anything like that. You can put a message of the day. That's just going to be personal for the people who are in your guild. If you want to say like, hey guys, we're all going to run on this particular map today. Whatever sort of instructions you want to give to people, you can go ahead and edit that. You can also see we have here in the bottom left is a guild ranking. And that's actually where your guild ranks according to all of the other guilds in the game. So this is the first time we've had leaderboards in KingsRoad, so this is kind of cool and exciting.
Right.
And the way that the leaderboards are working right now, at least, it's tracking the XP that people are earning in the guild. So every time you earn XP in the game and you're part of a guild, that will go towards your guild score.
Right.
So you can see right here, Steven and his Defenders of Quality are currently in 3rd place. The leaderboards we're going to have reset on a weekly basis, and you'll be able to see how much time there is before the next reset. It says it right underneath. It might be a little small for you guys to read right now, but it's saying that the guilds are going to reset in, is that 6 days? 8 days. 8 days. You can also see guild rewards in the bottom right. That's what we're talking about with the different levels in your guild. So every time you level up, you'll get another reward. And so this is tracking the current reward, which is going to be 10% increased base mana for everybody in the party. And so this will give you a little progression bar so you can see how close you are to earning that. As you can see, it takes quite a bit of XP in order to gain levels. We're expecting it's going to take a really active guild a couple of months to get all the way to level 10. Why don't we show real quick what those other rewards are, Stephen? So as soon as the little flash notification goes away, you can see at level 1 we've got increased base mana, increased base health, increased gold, increased experience, basically all the sort of general passive buffs that you've seen from the other classes that they have as skills, you'll be able to get for everybody in your party. Let's shoot over to the leaderboards as well, show that off to people.
Real quick, there's some good questions coming.
Yeah, sure. Let's look at these questions.
So one of them was, will starting a guild cost in-game currency or gems, real world money from Boo Dragon? It'll actually cost us a very small amount of gold. We're not really looking to monetize on creating guilds. 5 gold
or something.
It's very low, yeah. And we just put that there to make sure that there's not a lot of new accounts logging in, spamming, creating a bunch of spam guilds. Just a low barrier to create a guild. So yeah, no, we want everyone to play guilds. We want everyone to be able to connect with other players and connect with their friends and new friends, hopefully too, in the game, and work together towards common goals. We want to facilitate that as much as possible.
Let's look at a couple other questions here. We've got a couple from Regents. He wants to know if we're going to have guild storage or if we're going to expand the number of members in a guild. And that's probably still up for debate. I know we liked 25 members because that seemed like a good, healthy number. We didn't want to make it too high so that the guilds that do have 50 members or 100 members in it will just rocket past everybody else on the leaderboards, and like a new guild starting up that only has 5 or 10 would have no chance whatsoever. You know, we want to encourage everyone to have full guilds and kind of maximize the potential of guilds. But you know, that's something that we could possibly revisit in the future. Guild storage.
That's a great
cool idea.
And you know, that kind of falls along the lines too with like trading items in general. And that's something that has come up multiple times in the office here. We're definitely all a fan of it. But there's no plans for when we're going to roll it out yet. But you know, these things come in phases. So you know, the guild functionality itself has been gone through multiple phases, and it will continue to. So hopefully we can reach that point at some point. I think that'd be really cool to be able to share items with your guild members.
Yep. So let's see, what else do we want to show off with guilds? Let's see, invite flow. So if you are not in a guild right now, you can go through and look at the top 100 guilds, right? You can request an invite to any of those guilds. Now, requesting an invite is not going to automatically make you part of that guild. The guild owner or one of the guild officers will then have to accept your flow. Oh yeah, and you can actually see here. So on the leaderboards, if you want to drill down into any one of the guilds, see who they are, you can see who's in them, you can see what level they're at. You know, it's a really cool way to be able to you know, see where your friends are, to see where like the really active players, just see how high level they are to get to that place where they are. Let's see, do we have anything else in here? Any other questions? Will there be a reward for the top 3 guilds with the leaderboard? You know, that's something we definitely want to add. We don't have it within the game right now. I think that's something we might experiment me doing on a manual basis right now.
Yeah.
You know, we want those guilds to be, those leaderboards to be more than just bragging rights. We want to have some sort of tangible reward, give people incentive for wanting to get to the top.
Right.
So, you know, we haven't fully determined what we're going to do for that. In the near future, it might be me just manually giving out some rewards to the top 3 guilds or so. Eventually, it would be nice to have a threshold where if you're in the top 100 and we've got thousands of guilds, right, everybody whose guild was in the top 100 would get some sort of reward.
Right.
So we'll get there at some point. Like Derek was saying, you know, when we develop features, we like to develop them in stages. You know, just because we are a live service and we want to get that player feedback from you guys. So we'll implement one element of the guild, and then we'll add in another layer, and then we'll add in another layer. And that's how we really work with guilds. We've actually had it open in preview to a small number of the public for a couple weeks now. And as those guys can attest, what you see here is definitely improved upon what we've had in the future, or what we've had in the past.
Sorry, I've seen a couple more interesting questions here. So, any chance when searching for party members we can get party or players of the same level or within 5 levels of us? So we're continually we're going to be releasing some improvements to that algorithm that groups you with other players soon to try to make that more accurate, and we'll continue to improve that over time. We know that it's an issue right now, and we're definitely working to make sure that you get grouped with relevant people.
Yeah.
And then one more I saw down here. Where did that go? Regents, with the mention of XP, are you guys looking into getting rid of XP from summoner spawns to keep from summoner camping? Absolutely. We're always trying. There's little instances of that keep popping up all over the world, and we try to squash it as soon as we hear about it. So we're looking for them.
Yeah, there is one we're definitely aware of right now, and thank you to the players who have brought that to our attention. We're working on a way of fixing that right now, because we do want to have everyone on an equal playing field, and we want to make acquiring XP and getting to the top of the leaderboards fun, and not just a matter of standing in one place and like constantly
min-maxing it, basically.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So thank you guys for doing that, and balance is a very tough thing. You guys often find things that even though we've got testers working on the game 24 hours a day basically, there's still things that you're going to find that we don't, and that's part of the great thing about us being a live service, is that we can have that continual dialogue with you guys, and we see something like that, we can actually go and fix it and have it ready for the next update.
Right.
Let's see if we've got any other questions here before we drop off. Let's see. A lot of people want more food drops right now. That's great feedback.
I'll talk to the lead designer and see what we can do.
Yeah, I feel like, did we change it a little bit from the last update? I know there was an issue.
I'm not sure.
There was an issue where malt actually was not dropping at all.
Oh, right.
So people were having a lot of difficulty crafting anything that used malt. We fixed that in the update that went out this past Tuesday. That feedback's great. We'll continue to hammer on our lead designer, see if we can try to tweak that up just a little bit more for you guys. Let's see. One more question we'll get here, looking at this mega bundle. So, there's a mega bundle offer that I saw appear once, but I wasn't ready to buy it at the time. Any chance of seeing that appear again? Like to contribute it and seem like a good way. Bundles are a really cool thing that we've been introducing to the game gradually, and I think you'll see now more bundles will come in at different times that you'll be playing the game.
Right, and we're actually, I can't give a time frame on this, but something we're looking at doing soon is adding items to a shop where it's bundled groups of items basically that will give you a discount if you want to buy in bulk.
Yeah.
So for people who like to spend gems in the game, keep that up. That's great. And also, we want to provide some opportunities for you to buy in bulk, get some good discounts, some extra savings, and some extra value out of your purchases. So that's definitely coming.
Yeah, we know you guys really like that. It's a really easy way, without you having to make too many decisions as far as like, well, do I buy this thing from over here, this thing from over here? Just give me a bunch and give me a good deal. I'll just buy it all. So, we're glad that you guys are enjoying those, and we hope to have more of those for you in the future. So let's see if we got any last questions here. Let's see. Change. Changing the layout. There's a couple other questions about more UI changes. It's definitely in the works. Our UI guy is a mad genius. Every time I walk past his desk, I'm like, oh my god, I cannot wait till that's in the game. So you guys should be seeing in the incoming weeks more and more stuff like you're seeing in this upcoming update. So I think at that point we're pretty good. We're glad you guys enjoyed this. We look to do more of these in the future. I think anytime we have a big update is a really good time just to kind of sit down again and show it off to people before it's out, get some of their feedback, and also people do have a lot of questions, and it's fun for us to be able to answer them on a one-on-one basis with you guys. So thanks so much for tuning in, and we'll see you guys next time.
Bye guys. Have
Bye.
a good day.
Steven, you want to say bye? Steven says
the knight who dies all the time.
There's the guy right there.
Whatever, man. I'm usually an archer.
All right, guys. We'll see you later.